and welcome. You are listening to episode 71 of the Nearly Men Video Games Podcast, coming to you live on Twitch from Scotland on Thursday, the 3rd of September 2020. My name is Paul Kaczynski, and joining me today is Gary Hogg-Simmons.
Hello.
And Colin Little.
Greetings and salutations.
And together we are the Nearly Men. We have nothing to do with the video games industry. We do not make them, we do not sell them, and we're not even particularly good at them. We are the Nearly Men, and at some point you've probably kicked your asses online. Do you know, I threw myself there because I thought, oh, I've got all that right so far.
And then you got that last bit wrong.
Crashed and burned, baby. Crashed and burned.
Paul, your mouth is writing checks that your ass can't cash. Yep. I don't think we've kicked even half of the people in the chat or our listeners out there's asses online. I don't think we've kicked anyone's ass online.
100%, we're the best gamers on the planet.
Do you even game, bro? Yeah, exactly. It's true.
Welcome, gentlemen. Here we are, episode 71. Would you believe we've made it? Colin Little, how are you, fella?
I'm good, thank you. I've been I had a wee day off. I've been streaming quite a lot recently, so I had a wee afternoon off. Feeling a wee bit rejuvenated.
Excellent. Mr. Simmons, how are you?
Oh, don't call me that, Mike.
Mr. Hogg-Simmons, sorry. Just removed half your heritage there.
I am good. I've been I'm kind of getting my day-to-day stamina back. I'm not having as many naps.
Good.
And I've been managing to game more than I was for the past 3 weeks. So it's been nice getting back into the swing of gaming life.
And I noticed you slid a wee schedule up into the Discord.
I did. I hung over it for days because I was like, don't want to clash, want to make sure we're not doing this and that. And then I was like, 2 days a week on my own channel, that sounds a bit right just now. And then during holiday times, it'll shift up again, but then it'll go back to that kind of standard routine. But no, I'm looking forward to it. Should be nice.
Looks good,
baby.
Looks good.
Yeah, baby. And how's work? Are you coping with work?
It's fine. So everyone's in masks now during anytime you're in public spaces like corridors and stuff.
Okay.
And you spend most of your day going, where's your mask? Where's your mask? Where's your mask?
Right, okay.
But most of them are really good with them, and it's nice, the different designs. There's been a few computer game themed ones. I'm like, oh hi, I like that computer game themed one. And then you've got some people with the medical exemption cards from the doctor. So I've never seen one. They're green, and they can be put in a lanyard, but most of them just have in their pocket. But then one person walked by, and I went, where's your mask? And they held up their phone with a screenshot, an internet picture saying they're exempt. I was like, that's a lie. Get a card. Get yourself to the doctors.
Your name is not Duke Nukem.
It's just that's. I was like, good attempt, but no, I'm not fun.
Did it say McLovin?
It's like, you have not rode high enough for persuasion. You failed.
And Colin, are you having to wear a mask at your work?
No.
Neither am I.
No, just not the moment.
But you know that it's wonderful because streaming is work now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
We have grabbed the bulls by the horn during lockdown, and we ramped up the stream. Particularly yourself, Colin. You're pretty much full time, near enough.
Yeah, more or less, and I have been essentially since about March, April time. So yeah, it's good. It's good. Gives you a bit of structure, and it means that there's something. We're growing something. I guess it's been great actually. I mean, that we've actually been able to do something kind of productive out of all this, because and it's been lovely for us as well. I'm sure you both agree. It's just nice to actually have had a chance to put some. I think the podcast, the Nearly Men, all just needed some time, and we never found enough time to really give it the attention it deserved. And it's if there's been a silver lining, we've been able to do that over the last 5 months. So yeah.
You've probably streamed the most out of Colin. I'm going to ask you this. I want a quick answer. Maybe one word. I'll give you 2 words if you need it.
Okay.
What's the worst thing about streaming?
Oh, bots.
What's the best thing about streaming?
Sort of essentially getting paid money to play video games.
Sounds good. I would have went with the community, but never mind.
Community is what I thought.
Before they all cancel themselves.
Not at all. Welcome to everyone in the chat. You are watching the Nearly Men Video Games Podcast if you're live on Twitch. If you are listening, you're listening in the future. Please do join us on Twitch every Thursday, or every second Thursday, I should say, 8 p.m. We do the podcast. And if you subscribe to the channel on Twitch, you become a producer of the podcast, would you believe? And if you have an Amazon Prime account and a Twitch account, you can link them together to a Prime Gaming account. It gives you a free sub to the streaming of your choice. Please do consider throwing it the Nearly Men way. Right, I better go big cam for this just so you're not sitting looking like it. Because the producers of episode 71 are... Dutch Recon 92, Feral Magical Girl, Hezabeam, Mr. Jod, Andy McGee 303, Apenoid, Jesus, Finally Men, Ride or Die 2610, Just Off the 6, Tikru 87, Alkane X, Gavin Alaf, Xbox. I'm going to miss that when that goes. Bry 2208, Racturian Spooku 2 or Spook U2, Colin Mac 42, Square Go Gamers, Baby Maker, Chaos Monkey, Enthis, Totana, Big Smooth, CP1, Ghastly Tales, Blenderhead Games, Shaheem 12344, Jamesy 42, King Sims, Synth Pharmacist, Dave Cake 90, Greston, MJ Play Games, Nappuccino, Andrew H 183, Colin is a poop.
I missed that and that goes.
Lindsay Moore, Tekkerin, Dr. NG, Jobrias, Slick 1393, Sherry Bobbins 09, Keeping It Twisted, Suki Sue, Graham Bro, Subtle Sraff, Evil Monkey, Dando, Who Wants to Die, Wardy Live, Async, Austin Winch, Queen of the North, Enemy Hugh, Decoy Aardvark, Soulglow 1989, T-Bones 5656, PlayStation Sucks, Daybreak 1591, Akam Pop Photo,
yeah.
Thank you, Gary. Chantel 92SX, oh my gosh, Banff Nurse, The Wee Maverick, Kimma Smith, Original Steven, Kitsuki Inari, Arong G Spot 21, Yotjaronicle? Brew Dragon 3233, and that is the huge list of producers for this episode. That is getting out of control, baby. Out of control.
That is mainly responsible. Evil Monkey is hugely responsible for that, and his $5 jokes, as he likes to call it.
Thank you so much to everyone that subs to the channel. We really do appreciate it. I think going forward, as we said last time, we're going to have to rethink maybe how the producer works. But for the moment, if you subscribe to the channel, you are a producer of the podcast, and you get a special shout out. And we really do appreciate everybody subbing. Thank you so much. It helps us to keep going. Keeps Gary and marshmallows and
yes,
Colin in video games.
That's where the bulk of the money goes. Gary's marshmallows.
We are the Nearly Men. We love you getting in touch, everybody, even if it's just to tell us what game you've been playing or what news has tickled your fancy this week. If you ever want to get in touch with us, here's how you can do it.
Reaching the Nearly Men is easier than ever. Search for the Nearly Men Video Games Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or your preferred podcast player. We stream on Twitch. Follow Colin at Colin_NM. Follow Paul at Paul Kaczynski, all one word. Follow Gary at Blunderboy87. And let's get social on Facebook as The Nearly Men, Twitter and Instagram where we are at Nearly Men, or go old school and email us on info@thenearlymen.com. Need all that again? Links are on our website, thenearlymen.com. So what are you waiting for?
Yes, please do get in touch. We love hearing from you. We love it. Inky Fingers was on the Discord. Same for news. The obvious one is the NVIDIA 3000 series. What do you think, boys?
So I'm pure rubbish at keeping up with PC stuff, even though I own one and use it, I'm always like, what should we be getting? What's new? What does it do? So, I mean, I guess I should be excited.
I looked a bit at it. So it's the NVIDIA RTX 3000 series. So there's certainly three different ones that I saw. The top one retails at $699 just for your graphics card. It is a monster.
But that's, I mean, that's no out of the question. That's kind of cheap.
I mean,
like 1,200.
Oh, there's a huge amount of money for what they can be. It looks pretty good though. It looks, I mean, the amount of teraflops. I think it also, if I remember correctly, it has 32 gigabytes of video RAM. 32 gig of video RAM, which is quite chunky. It does make you think what. But I did look at it and go, that wouldn't even. I mean, the size of it itself, it's enormous. Absolutely enormous. It looks like a race car as well.
That's the same amount of RAM as I have in my machine, and I'm a video editor.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
So here's a question for because I'm sure there's many people listening or watching who don't know this either, like me. If I bought one of those and rammed it in my computer, how long would that last me? Or would it be a massive jump from what I currently run?
The RTX is a big jump. I think the ray tracing's a big jump.
The ray tracing, yeah.
That's the kind of new thing, if you like.
Right.
So in theory, it should last you a while. I think the issue with big graphics cards, getting the top end graphics card, is you need to have a very good processor as well. Otherwise, it bottlenecks. I think. I don't know too much about it anymore. I used to, but not anymore.
See, there's so many things you need to know and how they balance each other. That's why I'm like, I don't know what I'm sticking in there. So I just ask other people.
It does give me the fear a little bit just thinking about it. I mean, I'm already sitting there going, I was looking at the specs on my laptop, which I only got 3-4 months ago, and I saw while I was looking through it, it said that this has, so it's got 8 gig of RAM in it, and then it's got a 4 video RAM or something, I can't remember. Anyway, apparently there's space for 32 gig of RAM in it, and I was a bit like, is there? And I was like,
That's great though. That's great. Your laptop's got that space, because far too often laptops are. Yeah. That's you. You've got 4, and that's your whack.
Yeah. So that's but I'm sitting there going, but I don't think I need it just yet. But it might be something to explore at some point
next week. So Inky Fingers, and was it Trimster that we're talking about in the chat? I think. Let us know. Are you going to pick it up, or are you going to give it a miss? Are you going to save up the pennies? The problem is there's 2 consoles coming out as well.
It does point out though exactly why people need to set their expectations realistically about the price of the new consoles. If that's how much top-end graphics cards are costing, and as we said, there's even, you can pay above that, and that's just one part of the machine, then there's, you can understand why these consoles are going to be expensive, and if they're going to manage to get them kind of down under that £500 mark, they're going to be selling at a loss,
Yeah. Trimster's just saying in the chat there, he'd need to buy a new monitor if he did, and that's the other problem. A lot of people's monitors are, either 1400, 900. When you start to get to this level, you need your 4K, and that's if you want a half decent 4K monitor. That's not a paper round job.
Yeah.
I've already got a 4K Sony TV I use, so I'm sorted.
What's your response rate though, Gary? I don't care.
It's big. The TV's big.
Aye. Well, that should cover it then. That'll be fine.
Do you want some news?
Do we? I know there's a lot of people excited about this news.
MJ Plays Games, who is in the chat, was ludicrously excited about this. I'm going to go through it one by one, people. I'm going to turn to you boys, because you boys are the console people. When these were coming out, I was playing on Amiga probably. Do you know what I mean? So this is all new to me.
When these came out, you were 35.
I know.
How'd I turn his camera off again? Yes, of course, there was a Nintendo Direct today, and the first one is that Nintendo have confirmed Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which will contain Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy, arriving in one package on the 18th of September. And here's a strange thing. The digital version will only be on sale to the end of March 2021, and physical copies will be limited. Odd. Yes.
That's not odd for Nintendo.
That's true. The games are optimized for the Switch, giving a higher resolution and smoother game performance, we are told. Do you know these games, guys?
I know Super Mario 64 very well. I don't know the other two. The other two are kind of GameCube and beyond. And the GameCube's a big sort of blind spot in my video game history. I never had a GameCube. My friends did, so I played it from time to time, but yeah, I never played any of those games. Super Mario 64 though is an excellent game, and I remember going to my friend's house. He got an N64. I think it was like a joint birthday present for him and one of his brothers, and it literally it came out, and that was at a time when I didn't really know. You didn't really know that consoles were out. You just suddenly got told, oh, such and such has got a new machine, and we went up and and I cannot explain how astonishing it was to see Mario 64 for the first time. It was incredible. It was incredible. And the design features of jumping through the portraits to go into the different worlds. It was a groundbreaking game, and I'm I think I'm very excited that a lot of people are going to get a chance. I think Mario 64 was the one that everyone really wanted. They were desperate to get that one back. And just looking at it, it just looks fabulous. So unfortunately I don't have a Switch, so I won't really get a chance to play it unless one of you guys do, and I'll come round and once I'm allowed to. And,
once we're allowed to,
my whole bag of Dettol wipes, and I'll play your Switch.
Gary, do you know any of these games particularly well?
I've played two of them pretty well, and one of them I've not touched at all. So it's interesting. I was wondering if they were going to use Super Mario 64 or the remaster they did for the 3DS when it first came out.
Oh.
But I think it might just be...
I think it's a new sort of...
Just a new
remaster. Yeah, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. So Super Mario 64, I never played the original, but I had the remake on the 3DS, and it was good. It was something I wasn't a Nintendo boy growing up. I was a Sega and Sony boy, so I'd kind of missed the whole Mario craze, apart from when I was at the after school care playing the SNES. But I did play Super Mario 64 on my 3DS, but I did have a good run at Super Mario Sunshine. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. And it came out when I was doing my work experience at the after school care I used to go to, and I ended up spending the whole week playing the GameCube instead of looking after kids. So, but it was good. I loved the dynamic of having the water pack and using the water to like clean up the world and solve the puzzles. It was something new, because remember Nintendo were doing that weird thing during the GameCube where nothing was a normal game, because you had Luigi's Mansion and then you had Super Mario Sunshine. It was never just a standard Mario game. They were just like, now we're going to give them this gadget. And everyone was like, oh. So it did have like cult following. Super Mario Galaxy I've never played, but I felt it's really good.
Well, I know that Andrew from Arcade was very excited when he saw Sunshine.
That's his game, he was saying.
Yeah, he was very excited about that. Galaxy was one of the later ones. I don't know. Was
Wii?
I was going to say, I thought Galaxy was Wii.
Yeah,
I played that in the Wii.
I played a little bit of that, but I don't think I ever played any of Mario Sunshine. Yeah, it looks great. I think it's really good that these games are being remastered. I mean, yeah, we're talking about the fact that Nintendo are a bit weird, and it's not uncommon that Nintendo do limit supply of things. We saw that with the NES Mini. We saw it with the SNES Mini. It gives them a sort of air of exclusivity, I guess.
Yeah.
And Nintendo generally, you'll find that their games are harder to get than other things, and that's why they're quite expensive, and it sort of protects they say it's to protect their brand. It might just be to make money. I don't know. Maybe a bit of both, but
and they never go on sale as well.
Ever.
Well, that's part of the thing.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Game & Watch Super Mario Brothers, and that's coming on November 13th. I've got
Super
no
Mario
idea
Brothers
what this is.
again?
So
It's the original one.
So it's like a wee handheld. There you go. It's a wee handheld, which I think's got a couple other games in it. Like I can't even remember, like Ball Catcher or something. It was like wee Mario like that. But yeah, that's coming as well. If you fancy that.
This is an old thing. Nintendo had a watch years ago, did they not?
Yeah,
That's a new one. Yeah,
they had lots of little Game & Watches.
So it's quite a cool wee thing to come back to.
it's a wee thing, isn't it? It's a wee thing.
It's cool. It's harking back to their history.
Oh, they're releasing 3 of them, and there's a different game in each one, and they're all 50 quid each.
50 quid.
I mean, that
You
sounds
can keep it, mate.
I heard of it. Yeah, I seen this a few, and cause I was like, but like a lot of people were outraged at the fact it's going to be 50 quid per handheld doohickey.
Oofed.
Are you sure that wasn't the Sega one? Because Sega are doing a very similar thing that is like preloaded.
Maybe that's the Sega one.
I think it might be the Sega one because this was only announced today. I don't know what the price is.
This was announced today, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if
I can probably
a similar thing, but
I could believe it's 50 quid. But
yeah,
you can keep it.
I'm like, yeah, no thanks.
Also announced today, and this is probably the second most one I was interested in. Second most one I was interested in, is that English? It's not.
Not really, no.
It's Super Mario Bros. 35. So this is like a Tetris 99 clone of sorts, where there's 35 people playing Super Mario Brothers at once. They're playing the same level, and it's essentially the last one standing wins. And like enemies you defeat will move to another player's game, the same as like Tetris. When you clear lines, it moves lines to somebody else's game. And that's going to be available for everybody with Nintendo Switch Online subscription, and that's coming on the 1st of October and again to the 31st of March 2021.
And then they're going to take it offline.
Take it offline, yeah.
It sounds interesting. There's been a big rage at having things like that. Remember that? What was that game on Xbox? Was it 1 versus 100?
I loved 1 versus 100.
Yeah, you were addicted to that, and we played that a few times.
Loved it.
And then they're just like, and you're done. And it was like,
it was so expensive to do because they had to have a host, and they obviously had to have new questions every show. It was just I don't think they get the advertising deal that they wanted or whatever. But that was a great game. But yeah, I mean, I really like Tetris 99. I really enjoy playing that. I'm not a huge Mario Brothers fan, but this will be alright.
I think that's great. I think that's amazing. Although the skill of people online, the skill, if you check out videos and all that of people playing Mario, you will get roasted on there. There is going to be some absolute geniuses at Mario that will absolutely have you for dinner. Coincidentally, Gary, you were actually, I think it was the Sega one you're thinking about, but the Game & Watch has been released in a very limited run, and it's $49.99.
So that'll be 50 quid as well.
Aye, you never get a cheaper version.
Aye.
Oof. I think it'll be quite collectible. So there'll be loads of folk. It'll sell out.
Yeah. Next up was Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, and that's coming on the 12th of November, and we'll have local and online multiplayer.
Ooh.
Now, is this a remaster as well?
No, I think
this is new.
New?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
It looks quite fresh.
I've never played this before. It looks like it's remember that Mario game that was a Mario game but wasn't actually a Mario game? Is it the second one? It plays Peach and Toad and Luigi. It's that. It's not that game, but it's the same characters.
It was a Wii U game, MJ saying in the chat. I will trust MJ on that.
Yes, absolutely.
It looks great though. It looks great. It looks a bit like well, I mean, it's obviously just a continuation of the Mario Party series.
Yeah.
And there's a Kirby's one that's a bit like that as well that we played, Kirby's Dream Land or whatever one it was, which has got a similar sort. It looks a lot of fun. It really does look gorgeous, to be honest.
It looks nice, yeah. These kind of games appeal to me far more than just your average Mario game. I think the multiplayer thing really hooks me in with it.
So good for families as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, have local multiplayer makes it much more appealing for buying it over a single player game.
Yep. You fancy that one, then, Gary? I think this is the kind of extra bit just in the visual if you're watching on Twitch.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I do, now that MJ said that, I remember it coming out. And I remember, is this the one that had like an assist mode where it did the puzzles and the jumps for you if you were stuck, and everyone was like, "This is outrageous, this is a Mario game," and Nintendo like,
"It's not the Mario way."
They were like, "It's like a game, so if you can help."
And the last one that was announced, now this, I don't know if you were in the stream as well, Colin, with Arcade.
I was.
Someone came in, I think it was actually Evil Monkey, of all people, came in and
spoke
spoke about
this. Who's in the chat and said to us, Paulo, about you, don't worry, I know you were worried about whether or not you were speaking English earlier. Evil Monkey says none of you really speak English, so...
This is true. This is very true. That's very true. Well, we couldn't quite believe our eyes when we saw this, and we didn't believe it at first. And then we were convinced it was real, and then we suddenly had a fear that it wasn't real. So Andrew put on the whole of the Direct, and we watched the Direct just to make sure it was official. And this is Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. It's an augmented reality game where players have a real-life remote control kart and race against virtual and real local opponents in your living room using actual objects as obstacles. There you are, there's the cart if you're watching.
It looks awesome.
Mario and Luigi carts will be available when it launches on the 16th of October, so it's just next month. So if you've not seen this is you have got a wee remote control car that's got a camera on top of it, and you're sitting playing the Switch and you can see through the camera of the cart, and the cart is zipping around your living room. So it's got the wee gates you set up, and I think that tells it how the track is laid out, but it also uses like your couch as a barrier and things like that.
I mean, I'm just going to say, they've got a really big like front room. I mean, they're going to need like...
Look who's talking.
I know, that's coming from you. Your front room's enormous.
But I think for like the average council tenant house in Glasgow,
yes.
Like you're going to need to like have all your doors open and like is it
multi-room though?
And it's running on hardwood. What if you get carpet?
You could do the Le Mans Grand Prix in Gary's living room, by the way.
Yes.
But that notwithstanding, that was my concern. And I also thought my cats would go mad.
Oh, my dogs, man.
But, Andrew lost his mind watching this earlier on in the arcade stream, and he said that, they could set up a course. They could have a course in arcade, and that would be brilliant. That would be amazing. And actually... Price-wise, the price at the time, I think it's 100 quid, basically.
Ooh, for the one cart?
For the one cart. Now, that is quite expensive, I thought, but it is the game. It is the game and the cart. And I suppose if a Switch game's like 55, 60 quid already, then you're only talking. Well, I think it might be $100. Sorry, so it might be slightly less here. Might be 80 quid or something. So you're getting a remote control car for like 20 quid on top of that. I wouldn't use it. I don't think I would get enough use out of that.
I don't think I would either. As cool as it appears, I don't think it would be a must buy for me.
Here's a question: How do the people you're playing against know the course?
That's what you can see on screen at the moment. So you see the kind of outline of the.
Aye, but like, so say I've set up my course in my living room, and then Colin's like, "Oh, I want to play." Can you play online? Because then it's like,
no.
how? Oh, right.
Those are sort of computer generated characters.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't even play with your pals.
Well, you can play with your pals if
as long as you're in the same room.
In the same room, and your pal also has a car.
Right.
I mean,
and then you would actually race.
What's cool though is if you hit them with a shell, the Wii remote control car stops.
Oh, that's cool.
It's so clever, and I don't. There's nothing really stopping it being online as well, because it would. I mean, then you're showing your living room.
But also, if you've got to drive around your room and it's not big enough, you're not really going to be able to do the course.
Okay, yeah.
You're right, it's have to just be a virtual
cheating as well. I don't think it'll work.
But I mean, it looks really cool. To me, that was the highlight of the Direct. I thought that just looked that's so Nintendo.
It's the kind of bonkers Nintendo that we know and love.
Yeah.
It's like Nintendo does Skeletrix.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine there's going to be other carts going to be coming out if it sells well.
Oh, aye.
Big Bowser. You'd like a big Bowser, wouldn't you, Colin?
I would like a big Bowser. I do. Bowser's my man.
I'd like a wee Link.
A wee Link.
A wee Link.
Oh, Link will be. He always goes for the expensive one. Can you imagine how much Link will be like a super duper edition one and all that?
Super collector's edition.
Link's car will be solid gold or something.
Anyway, that was your news. That was it, basically. That's all that really cool.
2 weeks.
I know. Do you want some Cozy's Crumbs to fill the gap?
Do we?
Cozy's Crumbs.
Yeah, you do. Cozy's Crumbs, Fall Guys Season 2 is coming in October. We've enjoyed Fall Guys. We've kind of fell away from it a wee bit. We played it intensely, I think, for 2 weeks. And we've kind of fell away a wee bit, but I thoroughly enjoy it. I nearly fired it up the other day.
I kind of need the team events to go.
You're not a fan of the team. I
just don't think they're that good. They're just a bit frustrating.
They're not as good as the obstacle course. The obstacle course are the best thing about it. And I think that's a good thing because it's a medieval theme, Season 2, and the costumes are medieval. There's knights and different things like that.
I'm so excited about this.
And there's a lot of kind of maps that are drawbridges and all that kind of jazz. What worries me, though, is I watched a quick video that was like, oh, hi, I'm the lead designer on Fall Guys. Lead designer on Fall Guys looks about 8. I was like, no wonder your game didn't work at first. You can't read.
I love it. Actually, I'm getting very confused by how quickly seasons happen in the gaming community now. Like, a season's like 8 weeks and then it's a new season. I'm like, right, can we just...
It's all Fortnite's fault.
I'm like, I thought a season should be like... I thought you get like a season a year or like 2 seasons a year and it's just like firing out the gate.
It's non-stop, isn't it? Absolutely non-stop. It used to be 2 a year, didn't it?
Like 3 at a push if you were unlucky, but like 2 seasons a year. But again, I guess if they've used all their remaps, I suppose it's just they need to pump more stuff out. But
well, just keeps it fresh.
Yeah, but it's the season thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, what?
Do you know what I mean? The other way we've been moaning there's no new content.
that's not a season.
And also, this is one I'm going to post on Interested. Cat Bishop, also known as Hawkeye, is going to be added to the Avengers in October. The game's not even out yet, and they're telling you who they're giving you in October. Followed by Clint Barton himself, the other Hawkeye.
Nice. I mean, technically the game is it if you got it.
Well, it is, yes, yeah. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that later. But yeah, so I mean, and they've already got. Well, I think they data mined the demo for a big list.
The list of characters, it was impressive.
And if it's led to believe it's a healthy list, and they're free, they're release free. They do have a $10 battle pass with them.
Yeah.
If you want to get all the goodies, but if you just want the character, they're free. Here's a question for you: can you get all your cosmetics in game, or do you need to buy them?
As far as I'm aware, everything from what I read, because there was a bit of a hoo-ha about the battle pass. As far as I'm aware, it can all be unlocked in a sort of...
I mean, I could tell you because I've played it.
We'll get to that, Gary Hogg.
Well, there we go. As far as I'm aware, they can be, but it takes a lot of grinding, but I might be wrong.
I don't mind grinding.
I think there's a lot of grinding. This is a lot of grinding, but yeah, as far as I'm aware, but we know that you've played it, so Blundered Boy Duke, can you give us the exclusive?
We'll get there.
I didn't ask him to tell us about the game. I just asked him to confirm whether or not that was right. he is somewhat nodding, but that doesn't work on a podcast, Gary.
I'm not saying then, he's shouting up there.
Anyway, that was a couple of Cozy's Crumbs, alright? You take them and get to. Freebies! Oh yes, I've got the big job with the Xbox ones. Oh my days. This is the perfect time of the Xbox Games with Gold where you're getting the maximum amount of games at this present time to list.
The most confusing array of dates.
Right, so I'm going to try and do this nice and clear. From the 16th of August to the 15th of September, you're getting Override Mech City Brawl, a fighting game on the Xbox One. Simple. 1st of September to the 30th of September, you're getting The Division, the first one, third-person action, Xbox One. I would have given them the second one. I'm not going to lie. I would have given them the second one.
It's a wee bit like, oh, here's something nobody's really playing anymore.
Aye, give them the second one. Nobody's playing it. 1st of September to the 15th of September, De Blob, a 3D platformer for the Xbox One and 360. 16th of September to the 30th of September, Armed and Dangerous, a third-person action shooter for the Xbox One. And 16th of September to the 15th of October, The Book of Unwritten Tales 2, a little point-and-click adventure for the Xbox One.
No.
That was clear, wasn't it? You get that.
I wasn't listening.
Aye, kinda.
PS Plus. PS Plus is an alright month. I'd say this is an alright month.
It's pretty good. Actually, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that.
Aye.
I don't know if I'd play any, but the games themselves I think are worthwhile. You're getting PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, the original gangster battle royale game, as you
Yes.
say.
Winner,
PUBG,
winner.
and you're also getting Street Fighter V, the
Which
fighting
is worth
game.
it, it's good.
Well, see, Street Fighter V is a great shout because it's something you'd install and maybe have a couple of games of anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm quite excited about that. The Street Fighter V is very good. It is very good. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's your freebies. That is your freebies. Happy days, happy days. Right, we have been playing no bad amount of games here. No bad amount of games. Let's start with games that we have been given, shall we? That's probably the
Yes.
best thing to do. And Colin, I think we're going to start with you, my friend.
Oh.
If we could start with Wasteland 3. How's that been for you, son?
It's great. So we were sent Wasteland 3. When was that? About a week and a half ago. It's made by In Exile, who are sort of made up with some of the developers, some of the original developers of the original Fallout games, Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, which I nearly said Fallout 3, Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, but I'm talking about Wasteland 3. You follow? So. What happened was after Bethesda took over Fallout and moved it to the first-person sort of like Skyrim sort of clone that it is now, a lot of the OG, the original Fallout fans, were sort of missing this sort of like dungeon crawler, Diablo sort of hardcore RPG that Fallout originally was. So In Exile ended up making Wasteland, which became Fallout in all but name, and the series has grown and grown. This is the most recent one. It's out on PC. It's out on PS4. It's out on Xbox One, and it's great. It's really good. It is hard as nails. It is a brutal, unrelenting world. It mixes this sort of Diablo style dungeon crawling and character building where you can basically build a character any way you want. It doesn't even necessarily, it can give you sort of like builds, or you can build a character from scratch. It's one of these games where it actually, one of the best things about it is when you start, they give you 14 points to build your character any way you want. So you can bring everything right the way down and then absolutely buff the stats that you want, and you can build a character pretty much any way you want as a result. There's multiple choices, multiple ways, and the great thing about it is the way that you can literally play the game any way you want. And last night on stream, I made some pretty bad decisions, and will be living with the consequences of them for the rest of the rest of my playthrough.
There was some good dancing, though, man. Some good dancing.
Which was pretty sure. I did have a dance. At one point. There's some brilliant bits with the storytelling. It's got these incredible moments of music that just burst in at points, like in the middle of a fight. This incredible bit of music will kick in, and you're like, "Oh my goodness, this really sort of sets it aside." And it's got this sort of old school, bare bones RPG feel, but at the same time, it's got these real sort of AAA moments where, and it doesn't feel as though they're just throwing a lot of glitter at it or something to make it look a bit fancy. It's still got it's got the guts underneath it as well. The combat is brutal. It's turn-based combat, and it's very unforgiving. You're having to think about all sorts of stats. You're having to think about cover. You're having to think about critical hit chance. You're having to think about sightlines, whether you've got any chance of actually hitting somebody. And yeah, I'm just really impressed with the depth of it so far. The storyline's excellent. what I've played off it so far, the characters are really cool, and it's got this really wonderful sort of dark, satirical humor to it, which I suppose you're used to from Fallout, but this is where it came from. This is where it came from originally. This series is essentially what Fallout kind of became and then evolved from. Yeah, and it seems to be doing really well with the Wasteland fans. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to trying. Unfortunately, I think I'm in a bit of a problem right now with due to my autosave, so I'm probably going to have to go back a bit to fix it.
Oh no.
I made some pretty terrible decisions and lost half my party. And then we on stream last night had to watch we just had to watch everybody die because we just knew it wasn't going to go well. It wasn't going to go well. But it's great. It's not that sort of game where you can just hack and slash. You genuinely do have to think about what you're doing, and it's great. And even when you put all your stats into something, you're like, oh, I'm going to be invincible. No, you're not. You're not going to be invincible. But yeah,
enemies scale with you as you get stronger.
Well, as far as I'm aware, I mean, so the quests are giving you've got sort of like level guides on the quests,
right?
But there was a couple of missions I sort of jumped ahead and tried to do because you've loads of side quests, and I mean, I got absolutely battered on a couple of different ones because they're hard. They are hard, and you know it's not going to scale. If you jump in, they're going to if you try to take on somebody you're not ready for, they're going to have you for dinner, which happens regularly. And I mean, literally, Wasteland's a very dark game, very dark world, dark themes. There are cannibals in it, so in some cases they will actually have you for dinner. But yeah,
we Maverick's asking in the chat just because it comes up there. Is it meant to be quite cheesy in the style of the game? Is it meant to be, I presume by that she means like 80s action movie cheesy? Or is it meant to be deadly serious?
No, I wouldn't say it's deadly serious. No, and there are certain characters. There's a shop owner that constantly speaks to you in fish puns, for instance. There's a nightclub which is all about the glory of new or old Vegas and all that sort of stuff. No, it's very satirical, but at the same time it is brutal. As I said, there's cannibalism. There's these brutal murders and horrible sort of radiation ravaged beasts that will attack you. But at the same time, there's sort of like killer robots that talk to you in these sort of like menacingly passive aggressive ways, but then will kill you. Last night we ended up fighting the Discotron DJ robot, which came down. It was manning the DJ. I went over to speak to it and it asked me to put in my request for a song. But once I kicked off a fight in the bar, the Discotron came down and started just firing up the entire place, killing everybody, including me. And then there was there's some pretty heavy adult themes in it as well. There's a brothel and there was various. This was the sort of brothel where all your needs were cared for in all sorts of ways. So yeah, it's got that sort of humor. It's very much got its tongue in its cheek, but at the same time, it's quite a full-on experience at the same time.
Nice. Are you going to play more of it, do you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll probably stream some more of it as well. It's great. It's really good. It's kind of what I was hoping it would be, and actually, it's better than I thought it would be. So
good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Maybe catch up with you in the next episode then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's take our attention now to Windbound Colin, which you and I have had a go of. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a wee breather now. I'll just say that I streamed it, when was it? Last Friday, I think it was. And that was my first game of it, and that's all I've played of it, really. So I've only played a wee 4 hours of it or so. So it's a survival game, basically, with the aesthetic of your kind of Breath of the Wild almost, or Rime. I think Bry228 had said that Rime, that kind of, beautifully drawn animation which is nice. It's not particularly as brutal as something like Stranded Deep or anything like that, but it's certainly no simple game, and the small flavour of sailing that I got with it, it wasn't just a clear-cut case of throw your sail up and point and drive kind of thing. There was a bit of science to it. I enjoyed it. I mean, and you're more a survival game knowledgeable person than me, but I enjoyed it, and I like the crafting of it, and I'm aware that there's going to be a lot more crafting beyond what I've played, and I think that'll be satisfying. My main gripe with it was that it's got a form of permadeath that's not quite permadeath. So when you die, you go back to the start, but you have your knowledge, you have your recipes, so you can still craft the same things, and you have knowledge of where the things are, basically. And to me, I think I would rather have a straight permadeath. I'd rather be wiped out and start again than have a kind of halfway house of, we're going to put you all the way back here, but you can do what you can do. I don't know, what were your thoughts on it, Colin?
Well, I've not died in it yet, so I haven't experienced it, which is a bit of a humble brag. I didn't really mean it that, but that is what it is,
I had to do something exciting for the stream, though. I had to attack things.
Yeah, well, that does ring true to me, because that was a similar sort of, you remember my complaints about, what was it, Jedi Fallen Order, which sort of had a sort of Souls-like combat, but it wasn't quite Souls-like. It was like, I think if you're going to do something, then you should go all in. You shouldn't go, we like a wee bit of that, but we're not going to go too far. And I think that can sometimes be a bit wishy-washy if you do that. I think if you're going to be bold, go for it. As I said, so I haven't experienced that side of things yet. I've played, what have I played? 2-3 hours of it. And I've been at a bit of a slower pace, because the plan was we were sent this game early. It was under embargo, and obviously I played a little bit of it and thought, I'm going to stream this. Mm-hmm. So I kind of want to stream the early part of the game, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But I played enough of it to go, I quite like this. It's really interesting, because I sort of see it as a bit of Breath of the Wild meets Stranded Deep meets Moana. It's got a bit of that about it, with the sailing about on these very Moana-esque boats, and it does have a feel. And I get Bryce saying about rhyme, but I do. Breath of the Wild was the one that sort of sprung it to me. I think it looks great. I think it looks gorgeous. The story's interesting enough. What I've seen of it just now, I'm quite intrigued by it. I think the crafting system seems really deep, and quite tricky as well, because resources are hard to find. It's not
certain ones. What I was liking about it was I wanted to craft better items. So when I got my bow and I got arrows, I wanted to craft better arrows immediately, and I wanted that. So it was leading me down the right path. But it was more annoying that when I died, I went all the way back, and it wasn't like there was no. There wasn't anything necessary to do differently other than just go through the steps of activating the 3 towers to then go on to the next bit. Maybe that will change the further I get in the game, and I want to visit everything and get every nook and cranny, but at the moment I was just wanting to play through, and it was just a hassle that I had to do those.
The problem with survival game is that they're not really the sort of games where you play through. They generally are games that you're going to play at a slower pace, so it can be tricky. I'm not convinced. I don't know how the story will pan out. What I've seen the story I like so far, I think it's a nice world to be in. It's a nice world to spend some time in. It's quite a relaxed experience, but then you have these moments where you're fighting things and you're anything but relaxed, because they're pretty tough. Those big guys are monsters. I like it. I'm looking forward to playing some more of it.
I think I'll play more of it before passing full judgment on it, I think. But I mean, I'm kind of split down the middle at the moment with it. I'd love to like it more than I do, and I think I will, but Yeah, that was a big annoyance for me, having to go through all that again.
Well,
Whereas
you should have just got good.
got good. Aye, I would much rather have just died and started again completely. But it was more of annoyance that I didn't quite start again.
But I could just imagine in some parallel world where that is what you're going off your nut that you have to do everything all over again. So.
Need to again? What? Don't forget any of my recipes or nothing, man.
I caught you streaming it, Paul, and I think it annoys me, that whole sending you back to the start of the story, because it's that, I don't know, I think it's just wasting my time. I said that in the stream. I said that to you. I was like, it feels to me it's just wasting your time for the sake of it, and then making resources hard to find. And then, like, I seen you spend 15 minutes fighting that big giant beast, and you finally killed it, and then a tiny wee thing rammed you, and you died, and you had to go back to the start. And I was like,
aye. I mean, that was stupidity. That was stupidity.
Survival games. I had 110 days before I get killed by a squid. Okay, that happens.
But the thing is, to me, the fact it's got a big storyline, this big epic storyline, it to me, it feels like it shouldn't be I never made the game, so I don't really get to say, but games like that, to me, if you're trying to give me this big story, it's interesting, don't make me go back to the start every time I die. I find games like that very, for me, they're infuriating. And
yeah.
Even in my opinion,
turning it off there. Did you notice?
Yeah, turn the TV off. We're done. Even Dark Souls, at least, like, if you'd got unlocked pathways and stuff, you could still kind of scoot your way back. But then you got to that watery death bit, and then that really slow introduction and stuff again. And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, I'm bored, and I've just joined in. I was like, I don't know, Paul was feeling, but it seemed like a lot of work for very little payoff. And then there's obviously the thing I did is I went on Steam to check the reviews, and to be fair, the game had been out for 15 hours. But it was mostly negative reviews, and it might have changed since then. But it was kind of what I'm saying, what you guys have mentioned. A lot of people were just like, no, what I expected, not what thought I was buying into. It just seemed a wee bit. Seemed like one thing was promised, and maybe they were dealt a second hand. There's been a few games like that lately that are going for a really nice art direction. So this is like the Wind Waker, Breath of the Wild style. There's another one. It's a wee girl who's got an island, and you get a boat. You go visit islands, and you kind of start exploring the world. And that was hyped up, and then the reviews for that are bombed, and people are like, it looks good, but it plays like a sack of totties, and it's not what we were promised. So it's I think sometimes people are just buying into an aesthetic and.
That's certainly not the case with this game. This game plays well. It looks good.
It was fine. It was great.
It's an artistic choice. It's a narrative choice that they've decided, and it won't be for everyone. But I don't buy too much into online reviews, especially in the first 15 hours when people are piling on for the sake of it, just because I'm potentially not very good at a game. But yeah, I mean. I'll get some more of it played before the next episode. I might be able to tell you a wee bit more about my thoughts. As I said, I haven't I haven't experienced that side of things, and it might be frustrating, but also it might also encourage you to be a wee bit more careful in the game. Because
that is the thing,
that's the thing about a survival game. I play survival games on permadeath. If I die, I am going back to the start completely. So
is that an option in this?
No, it's just set to that, as far as I can see anyway. I think I'm the same. I'll play a wee more of it and see what's what, and we'll come back in a couple of weeks' time and see what's what. Gary, you have been playing Relicta. Is that how you pronounce Relicta?
Relicta, yeah.
Relicta. You spoke a wee bit about it last time, but you've played a bit more.
Yeah, so last podcast I had played about half an hour of it, but my brain wasn't really working. So then the night after the Friday, I decided to stream it, and it was good. And it's definitely rewarding at times, but sometimes it's frustrating. So I mean, you're literally just picking up and putting down cubes and trying to work your way through gateways, and the stories kind of trickled out as it goes on. And it was funny because when I spoke about it last time, I was like, "Oh, Sherry Bobbins might really like it because it's puzzly and the story's interesting." And then she was like, "Oh, I watched it," and was like, "No."
Sherry Bobbins wasn't particularly.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, those puzzles," and I was like, "Yeah, some of them I get stuck for a good wee while, but then when you finally make it click and figure it out, you do get that rush of I am a genius. I could be a scientist myself. But
you figured that out a lot easier than I did. I couldn't. I was watching. I was like, I don't understand how he's figuring these out. I can't figure it.
Well, I mean, you said that, and I was like, oh, yes, go me, big brains. But the only thing is, you would literally get a puzzle done, walk 10 meters down the hallway, and there was another puzzle, and you're like, I got to the point where I was going, and I never felt like that when playing the only comparative game I've got is Portal. Portal, every time you're like, oh. And that was that because Portal had levels and you had to use acceleration and then it had the whole understory of I think Portal got through the story quicker, as in it unraveled more and gave you more interesting beats to go on. Whereas this one, I'm still trying to get to that doctor who doesn't like me, and I'm like, I don't care. I was like, all she's doing is moaning at me every time she phones me. I was like, this isn't helping.
It kind of looks like a harder, less funny Portal.
Yeah. Like there was no humour. There was some questionable script writing again. And it was just a constant barrage. And then I think there's like 8 different biomes you're meant to go to, and I'm still in the first one. And I was like, that was a 3-hour stream. I was like, oh my
8?
Something, and I'm like,
bang for your buck though.
Oh, and then I was saying in stream, I was like, right, what are they going to give me next? Because they gave you the ability to turn different panels on and off, which then made it interesting because you had to have positive and negative pathways, and then ride a cube and bounce yourself around, which was fun.
That was cool.
The first couple of times you did it, but then that became the puzzle for the next 6 tests.
Aye.
And then I was like, I don't know what they can add in next. I mean, part of me wants to go back to go and find out what they add in next, but part of me's also got dreading another 7 biomes of these puzzles where I'm like, and like, so there I'm trying to figure out the floating cube and stuff, and that's fun, but then when it just keeps repeating, you're like, but I will say that when you do get the aha moment and you make it all work, you do feel really smart. Like, yes, get me into MIT.
Honestly, I saw you do it, right? You did like 3 puzzles in a row, and you're like, oh yeah, and you're like, yes. And it's like, I still don't understand how he's doing this. I can't. I just, it was like, it was astonishing. I just couldn't figure it out at all. It was really,
it's fun.
Too smart for me.
It's fun if you're into puzzles and stuff like that. And it looks nice and it plays well. It runs smoothly. I get questionable script writing. I was like, that's interesting. A really nice cast. Like it's really diverse character and cast list. It's got actors and characters from all over the world. So it's quite nice in that sense that in 100 years when we've colonized the moon, everyone's working in harmony. And there is a really interesting, shady storyline underneath that. And I'm like, give me more of that in between these puzzles. Stop hammering me in puzzles. I want to know more about this shady organization. I want to get to the Relicta machine that you showed me in the first 2 minutes of the game. And then you've sent me back to get it. And I'm like, I just want to get there. And the game starts really exciting, and then it's like, and now you get 17 levels of puzzles. And you're like,
big question for you then, Gary. Are you going to play more of it?
I think I will. I just don't know when. I think it's you need to be in the right mind frame. Like, it'd be good for like your Sunday social, see, because it's kind of chill and low key. But kind of thing, a Friday night, everyone's maybe looking. It's the wrong kind of chill for a Friday because it's a wee bit. And now I'm going to fall asleep because I'm moving again.
Rhythmical.
Like, so I think I would go back to it. I'd maybe go back to it off stream and try and get a bit further and figure out how far to go in it and then pick up again. But like, it's not a bad game. It's just a wee bit repetitive.
Okay. Well, if you play more, let us know.
I shall.
We played our multiplayer stream last week, and for that, we did, just for Gary, we did Dead by Daylight. I was super excited because we attempted something that we've never attempted before, which was all 3 Nearly Men streams on at the same time. Well, we have attempted before, but it was hellish.
It was a disaster.
We tried it with Star Wars
so-
Battlefront, and Gary's screen was, I think, 2.5 minutes behind everyone else's the way we were doing it. But we set it up, and it was okay. It was a bit pixelated, but the way things are working tonight with the podcast, this is looking a lot better. So hopefully it can only improve. But Gary, God bless his soul, always just plays with me and Colin what to play on a Thursday night. So we thought we better give Gary a night, and of course he chose Dead by Daylight, which Colin and I don't really play at all. And Gary, you play quite well. You play a bit.
Gary's addiction.
Highlight of the night, indeed, is the visual that you're seeing at the moment, where Colin did wear his Michael Myers mask as when he was playing as Michael Myers. It was good fun. I enjoyed myself. I'm not great with scary games, and it's always weird when you get put into a game like this and you don't know what you're doing, and everybody else kind of knows what they're doing. So it's a bit, you feel like you're holding everybody back or whatnot. But I had a great laugh, and Original Stephen and Mr. J0TD, who played with us, Josh.
JOTD. He told you how to say it, Mr.
It's a zero. It says zero.
Zero.
It is a zero, but that's how he said it, Mr. JOTD.
That's fine. It's a zero.
He also said he's probably going to change his name to just call me Josh because of
everybody wants to see zero because it says zero. I hope you're out there, Josh.
It's just like people putting JOTD in the search bar, kind of find them.
Exactly, Gary. Exactly.
Well, well, he's got about 3,500 followers. I think he's managed.
But that's a link now. I mean, that's not a search. But they were both lovely. Original Stephen, who plays quite a bit, and as does Josh, were very welcoming and very kind to the newbies. And it was great fun. How did you boys enjoy it?
Well, I did enjoy it. I had a great time playing with you guys. I don't know. The game doesn't quite click with me. It's just a wee bit too repetitive. I don't know. I always sort of compare it to Friday the 13th, which I always really liked, despite the fact it was a broken, horrible mess for so long. I just felt there was a lot more to do in Friday the 13th. Actually, as a survivor, I think the repeating of the generators and stuff just is a wee bit boring. However, what I did like was, like, when it was Freddy Krueger we were after, you had to go and wake up from the dream state and stuff. So that was another aspect that I wasn't really aware of, and that did add a nice thing. I think the variety of the killers is really cool. I think it's properly scary at times, and it's just so alive. And of course, I see that it's going to be, apparently everybody that's got the game is going to get a free upgrade to PlayStation 5 or Xbox One. They announced the other day.
Yeah.
So they're obviously backing this game. This game's going to just grow and grow. So yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun. I think I'm not convinced I would enjoy playing it with randoms the way I enjoyed playing it with all my friends.
I'd agree. Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. And I do see lots of streamers streaming it, and I do like to jump on and watch them. It's oddly fascinating for me. I don't find it quite as fun to play as I thought I would, though. I don't know. It's a fun one.
Fair play. Gary, you're a stalwart of this. How was it for you?
I loved it because I never really do kill your friends, because I'm always like, I don't get the blood points. I want to level up. Whereas for you guys never playing it, it made it easier and more enjoyable for you, I'd say, getting to play without the stress of having to help your team and get the blood points and try and not let other people down, because that can be stressful. It was good fun. There was lots of interesting plays and getting to try killers that maybe I don't normally play, and you guys trying at the killers was hilarious as well. Colin with Michael Myers the very first time when he was like, I don't know how to use them.
Well, that's what I was screaming internally, but because Michael Myers wasn't saying anything, and I couldn't
just like real Michael
guys.
Myers.
But no, it was good fun. It was nice, obviously playing with others, special guest appearances. And I get the argument of, oh, it's a bit repetitive and stuff, and it's not for everyone. But I do think the Kill Your Friends is the best way to play it if you're not into it as a main game, a big game. So I think that's the best way to play it if you can get a bunch of people together and play it.
Yeah,
I mean,
nice.
all these asymmetrical multiplayer games are a bit repetitive. I just wish it wasn't always generators. I don't know what else it could be, but I just wish there was a couple more options, or it was maybe changed up just a wee bit. It's just the generators over and over again. I'm also absolutely terrible at doing the generators, which doesn't help either. And I'm a bit like, well, maybe if there was another option, I would be able to say to folk,
do that.
I'm rubbish with the generators. You guys do the generators. I'm gonna, like in Friday the 13th, when you're like, I'm going for the car, I'm going for the boat.
Yeah.
I'm going to get Tommy. I just, and obviously the game's doing incredibly well, so they don't really need to listen to my advice at all. I just think a wee bit of variety would appeal to me a little bit more. But the game's doing brilliantly. So maybe it's just not for me.
Good fun. And thanks to original Stephen and Josh for joining in the fun with the Nearly Men as well. I'm going to move on, boys, just because, as always, time is marching on.
Absolutely.
So, Colin, you've also been playing a wee bit of Sea of Thieves. Give us a wee summary of what's going on there.
A wee bit. Oh my goodness, I have fallen for Sea of Thieves big time. I always, this is sort of like nothing new, so I'm kind of going over old ground, so I won't go mental. But it's always a game I kind of wanted to play. It was always the one Xbox game I thought, I wish that would come to PS4. Obviously, it was never going to come to PS4 because Rare's a first-party publisher for Xbox and Microsoft. But when you sort of hype up a game in your mind for a long time and you're desperate to play it, and then you get there, it's very rare that it lives up to what you hoped it would be. And Sea of Thieves just is. It's just brilliant fun. I've been doing all sorts. I've been streaming. I had Daybreak's been a shipmate of mine for almost all of my streams. Just Off the Six has been playing as well. He's been guiding us. He's on his way to Pirate Legend. We've had Evil Monkey, we've had Ride or Die, we've had Racturian, we've had all sorts of people from the community coming in to play on the streams. It's been great fun playing along with folk. I also did a solo sloop session myself, a whole stream, just me on my sloop, and I didn't sink once, which was mental, because that was a big thing I was a bit paranoid about, and was a bit, I don't know if I'll be able to do all this alone. It's great. There's an event on at the moment called Hunters of the Deep, where you're trying to hunt down megalodons in the game, and this is where my first gripe of the game so far is. I streamed for cumulatively about 6.5 hours over 2 nights, and basically had like two proper megalodon experiences. One right at the start of the night where we got attacked by a rival ship while we were in the middle of fighting the megalodon, and we got killed as a result because we got our attention split. Then we didn't get a single megalodon spawn until the end of the night, when we were heading back with all our gear and being chased by another player, and we got 2 megalodons and couldn't deal with it. The next day, Daybreak and I went on and we're like, today's the day, we're not doing anything else, we're just looking for megalodons. We didn't get one until eventually towards the end we got one who just circled us. It turns out it's the most least aggressive of all the megalodons, and it just circled us for ages. We were shooting. It eventually turned, and that's your moment to start killing it. It comes right in at us. I fired one cannonball into its mouth, and it glitched and disappeared. And that was it. And I was absolutely raging. I'm like, I don't quite know. And funnily enough, Evil Monkey, various people in the chat basically said, yeah, you just got reared. Apparently it's quite common. Whatever you're looking for, you're not going to get. And but it just annoys me a wee bit, because if you're doing an event, you would think you would maybe just increase the spawn number just a little bit. The fact that people have been, and this is quite common, there's people all over the place that are looking for them and can't get them. And then there's other folk who, have been fortunate enough, and I suppose that's fair enough. I suppose if you were hunting an animal, you wouldn't necessarily find it all the time. But yeah, it's just frustrating. You put in that much time in and you're looking for this one thing, and then the chance you get it just pulls it out your way.
Such is life.
But I still love it, and I'm still streaming it tomorrow. So
it's on tomorrow again.
I'll do a wee solo sloop tomorrow, I think.
Happy days.
Yeah.
I'm going to fly through these. On the Sunday social, I've been doing the Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it's been a real joy. I keep saying it should be the most boring game on the planet, and it's so fascinating. It's lovely having people in the Discord suggesting places and going places people know. Like on Sunday we went to Portland, where Gavin and Laugh spent a summer. and we flew over where he stayed and things, and it was nice for him to see that, and he recognised places, and it's just a really relaxing time. It's really nice. I have yet to land a jet.
You've landed it just all right.
Yeah. Nobody walked away from my jet landing.
Although I love when you landed your jet, it said, "Oh, you broke the grind." Was it the landing axle or something? That was it. That's all it broke.
That was it. But it's just so nice, and it's stunning to look at as well. It's really nice. And I think I'll be continuing that on the Sunday Social for a good couple of
just say as well, shout out to Mr. Kaczynski, who has literally carved out the highlight of the week for just about everybody as the Sunday Social. It is a wonderful stream, and all you podcast listeners out there who maybe aren't on Twitch or are very rarely on Twitch, get yourself onto Twitch, onto Paolo's channel at 10 a.m. on a Sunday. You will not regret it. The Sunday Social is such a vibrant community. There's loads of folk in there chatting away, talking about breakfast, talking about all sorts of nonsense, and Flight Sim is absolutely magic. It's perfect for it.
That's kind of you to say, so Colin. Thank you so much. You're a handsome devil. I have been playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. I was gloriously joined by Nat Pacino last week doing a dual screen thing, almost like a wee guinea pig for our Dead by Daylight stream, and it was great. It was really nice. Nat Pacino is a veteran MMO player with World of Warcraft, so it was nice to have her on board, and it's nice to have a wee game. And then this week I played it again with Jabrias and Racturian and Andrew H183 as well from the community. It's been good fun. I was getting a wee bit annoyed with it because it seemed very grindy. Now, all MMOs are grindy, but it just seemed like the whole game was just pick up this quest, go and do this, go and kill a few guys, come back, kind of thing. But Racturian very kindly donated a guild stronghold and the like. He paid for all the, basically, our sugar daddy paid for everything for the Nearly Guild, and it became a bit more like the MMO that I wanted. I had a base. I could leave things somewhere. I could put decorations up. I could put furniture in somewhere. I just gave it a kind of base rather than me just carrying everything about. So yeah, I mean, I think I will continue to play it. I don't think I'd play it as much as I should for it to really benefit me getting a sub for it or anything like that. But it's good fun, and I'm all up for PvP, by the way, with the light side versus the dark side. I'm going to try and arrange that somehow.
A Jedi Sith square goal.
Aye, a square goal.
Behind the bike sheds. Oh, no, at the flagpole, the bike sheds is something different. That's different.
Okay. And also in the Nearly Men channel as well, I've been playing Alien Isolation, which will again be on Monday night. We're at part 5. We're getting through it, and I'm popping my chance every single time.
It's great.
You finished it?
No, I'm still going. I was about halfway through last week, so I'd say I'm maybe about 60-70% through it now.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Gary, you tell us about your games, my friend.
So, as I said, playing a bit more Dead by Daylight and just working on those rifts. Oh, getting all the glorious loot. It's so wonderful. I love it. I've been guest appearing on other people's streams. I've been on Murder with Stephen, helping him sometimes, and Mr. JOTD.
Two-timers?
You guys won't play.
It's outrageous, man.
Got to get my Dead by Daylight somewhere else.
Outrageous.
So just hopping on with them, and really it's just to kind of help each other with the archives, because some of them are so difficult. Like, do a cooperative action for 180 settings, and when randoms don't like you touch them, you're like, come back, I need to bad rub you. So it makes it easier to get through the archives in that way, but I'm still enjoying my time with that. Last Friday on the Nearly Men channel, I booted up a wonderful wee game which has just been released, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remaster. And we actually realised that, so I was 16 when this game came out, and it just took me straight back. And you know what was really lovely? There was lots of people watching. It seemed to run a big crowd, and everyone's like, oh, it's nice and relaxing and calm. And it's quite different from playing that puzzle game on a Friday night, because you're still getting to whack things and play with spells and heal. But there's a lot of people coming in who are like, oh, I played this when I was younger, it's so good. And that was really nice, and chatting to people about the past. And That's it here. As I was showing off on Friday, I actually have my walkthrough guide from when I was like 16, 17. So I wasn't using it. I didn't want to be like reading the guide, but I kind of got that out, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing!" And basically, you're just your little village lives as part of this world, which is full of malice. They call it this foggy haze stuff, and you need to empower your protective crystal once a year. So the caravanners go out and they find the drops to power the crystal. And basically, once you get 3 a year has passed, and you go back and you go out the next year, but the trees you found, they've depleted, so you've got to go further and further each time you go out in the caravan. There's 4 races you can choose from, and you can choose male or female characters, and then there's 4 designs per gender per race, so there's a good variety of characters you can choose from. You get to name your opening town where you live, and I fat thumbed it, so my town is called the letter I. It's just called I. I did hit enter by accident. I was like, the town of I, and I was like, Jesus. So but we kept it. We went with that, so that's a running joke now.
Good.
And it's nice, it's lovely, it's got a cute art style, and you can play 4 people or co-op online, and you just run around casting spells and hitting things. So it's lots of fun. I'll get back to playing that on a Friday night. I think people quite enjoyed that, and it was nice reliving my teenage years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Enough about your nostalgia and your wee fancy wee game.
Tell us about your other game. Want to know about. This is what
Tell us about your other game.
So yesterday, the day before yesterday, I kind of bit the bullet and I digitally pre-ordered The Avengers. And I noticed that in a couple of the editions you could get it 3 days early, so I was like, why not? And I really wanted to play it before tonight's stream, just to talk about it. So it's officially released tomorrow, which means officially tomorrow I will be streaming it tomorrow night. So that's why there's no Crystal Chronicles tomorrow night. We're gonna stream The Avengers. I didn't play the beta, so I'm getting tapped by fly, purposely because I didn't want to spoil myself or get my hopes up or be disappointed. But I knew from a few people, so MJ Plays Games, she played the beta. Erjo Stephen, could we make that up? Someone else played the beta.
And they said
and you played the beta. And I remember you talked about how all the characters play differently, and it's quite nice. So I've played about 3 hours. The stuff on screen is me playing the tutorial, which everyone's seen. It's the Golden Gate scene, Golden Gate Bridge scene that was touted from the get-go. I know one of Colin's biggest issues was how weird everyone looked.
Oh yeah,
they fixed that. They look like people. They look quite good. Do you know?
They look like people.
They wouldn't do it. I mean, they looked a bit like Duplo kids before. But do you know the weirdest thing? All the guys have really good bums. I mean, whoever was working the character models is like Bruce Banner's butt. I was like,
that's me sold then. I'll definitely get it now then.
I missed the whole cutscene because I was just like, look at his bum. And then I was like, oh wait, what just happened? But I mean, it is gorgeous. And do you know, the play style of the different Avengers is lovely. I really enjoyed
just now. You're doing Captain America and Ninja Tutorial.
He looks cool.
It's so much fun. That was so much fun.
I didn't expect him to play well, and then I was like, oh, smack! And like he was surprisingly a lot of fun to play as. I loved playing as Black Widow. Her fight actually, I almost died at that because I couldn't figure out what to do at first. It does overwhelm you with info. It like literally just is like, have this and this and this. The opening is lovely. The opening is like an homage to everyone who loves Marvel. I don't know if it was in the beta. I don't know where the beta started, but the opening's just now.
That was not in the beta.
Cool. So there's no spoilers in that, but basically, Kamala goes to Avengers Day, and you get to tour this. Basically Disneyland, and you get to play Avengers games and stuff, and it's a really nice opening. And then and the story's good. The story pacing issues slightly. I don't know. I can't put my finger on why. Like it kind of amps up sometimes, and then it's like I'm never going to do this. But I'm about 3 hours in, and I feel like I'm just getting finished the tutorial.
Okay.
In a good way, like it just kind of just throws you things, and you're like, "Whoa, I'm going to try that." And then you get to do a tutorial that reteaches you the buttons you learned 4 hours earlier. And then you're like, and you kind of make your way through the game not bad. You're not struggling. Like I was never really, actually I struggled at one bit. But you never really feel like you don't know what you're doing. But then when you get that tutorial, it reminds you of some of the extra moves, like the parry move, and you're like, oh, I forgot about that. It just makes it feel that much slicker. But it's good. Is it perfect? No, the combat's a wee bit clunky. The camera sometimes, you see me and I'm with Thor, I go zooming by people, and then I'm like, I don't know if I'm trying to hit. But there is a lock on, which kind of works.
Yep.
So it's a wee bit clunky, but it works. It feels like a Marvel game. Like it feels like
a superhero game. That's what I liked about it.
Like I love how in Thor you throw the hammer and then you can recall it in a different, like if you move and it whacks lots of people. Like it's very clever.
Very akin to the God of War.
Yeah, I was never bored playing it. The environments are lovely. The story's good. There's lots of big set pieces, kind of like God of War had when you're running up things and things are blowing up, and you're like, so it's got the high drama of Marvel. So it's going to be good, and with the expansion of their multiplayer mode, while these characters coming out, and Spider-Man's exclusively PlayStation, so I was like, can't wait to be the web slinger. What we were talking about earlier, the unlockables, each character has like a challenge tree, and it changes. I'm sure it changes. So if you're playing as Kamala, it's like eight levels, and there's 6 different parts to it. And as you level up, you unlock cosmetics and upgrades and wee fancy things here and there. You can buy points to unlock them quicker, but there's nothing in it that I could see that would give you an edge over other players.
Right.
It's kind of like the Dead by Daylight Rift, where it's all fancy items and fancy looks. You can pay Dead by Daylight as well. You can pay money to jump up a few levels if you're running behind or want to complete it, but it can be unlocked in game. But it will be grindy. I don't quite know what I have to do to unlock them yet. I don't know if they're locked until Friday, or maybe
I don't know. Yeah.
And the story mode is separate from the multiplayer mode, but you can have people drop in and play the other characters in story missions, and then they go away. And I think you can invite your pals to play them. And once you start it, I can invite you to come be my Hulk.
That's a sort of Dark Soulsy sort of thing.
Yeah,
where you can invite folk in for special bosses and stuff.
Yeah, but so Hulk will always be there, and you can play through the mission. But then if I was like, I want to do that again, but I want to be Hulk, but I want somebody to be it rather than the computer, I'm pretty sure I could invite Paul and Colin in to play it. And then the multiplayer mode, mission mode, is something totally different. I haven't even looked at that yet because I was enjoying the story so much. But I'm really enjoying it. As a Marvel fan, I think it's great. The story's interesting. When you see bad guys, you're like, oh, it's him or her, and you're smashing face. But no, very good. I'd say it's been worth the money so far.
I'm gutted. I didn't really want this game. I was hoping. Everything I'd seen off it didn't look great. But you're talking so highly off it, and just looking at the gameplay, I'm sitting there going, no.
I was the same, Colin, until I played the beta last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was.
I watched some of the beta, and it left me a bit cold, but
it just felt right. It felt like a superhero game. It's akin to kind of Batman Arkham games. Like Cat plays very much like Batman, actually. If memory serves. But each hero is different. So Hulk feels big and smashes everything up.
See that's my jam. That's my jam.
Hulk is great fun. In the Black Widow, like she's got a cracking action sequence in that bridge, and you're like,
Aye.
But you're like, I'm doing this. Like it's just. And I downloaded the beta. I had to download it last night just because it was sitting there. I didn't play it, but then just in what Paul and MJ said, I was like, I'm going to buy that.
Dun 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 dun.
So I might play some after the podcast tonight.
Oh my. Listen, guys, I'm going to move on just because time is marching on as always. We just like talking about games. That's a problem. We just like talking about games. We're fine until we start talking. Let's have a wee listen or look to see what our viewers have been playing. Let's see. Jamesy42 had a shot at Dead by Daylight, which is great fun. The more I played, the more I enjoyed it. Went old school and played some Golden Axe. Golden Axe. Usual games as well. Warzone, NBA 2K20. Hope the more details come soon for the next gen consoles. They need to get the finger out.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, they do actually.
I think it's going to come this week or next week. I think
Yeah,
it'll be.
I was really surprised it didn't happen at Gamescom or anything like that. You know, it's strange. It's strange we haven't heard yet.
Jamie Simpson, the glorious Jamie Simpson, has been saying he's still playing The Last of Us 2, but having a little family break away and then other things happening, struggling to get back to it. I know what he means when you leave a game and got to get back into it. Sometimes it doesn't feel right. I'm sure at some point I will, but at the moment I'm just happy playing little bits and pieces on my Switch. Take care, guys. You take care too, Jamie Simpson. Mr. Callum Beaton was in touch on Twitter saying it was his birthday a couple of weeks ago and my son got me a PS2 so I can play Red Dead Revolver and GTA San Andreas.
Nice.
Best present ever.
So good. So good.
At a wrong G-Spot as well, World of Warcraft Shadowlands and the pre-patch are right around the corner, so trying to complete stuff in-game before they launch. Also been practicing Dead by Daylight and it's been the hottest of messes.
I beg to differ.
Hezosaurus Rex on Twitter says, finally jumped into the Dead by Daylight bandwagon and can't jump off. If anyone wants to play, let me know. Heza, if you're still in the chat, throw up your gamer tag. She's still on Fall Guys as well. Good. Tripster 13111. 11 even. Too many ones. He's been playing Crusader Kings 3. From the streams I've watched, has the difficulty ramped up? Who knows? I know it's just off the 6, is still playing the tutorial. He's enjoying it that much. He's also been playing New World. Looks promising, but it's early days. Does look at. I thought you might like that, Colin, potentially.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it much, but it does look quite cool.
Yeah. And as an old gamer, welcome. You're most welcome, Trimster. As an old gamer, I have high hopes for Tony Hawk as long as they don't screw it up again. Comic Crazy Shop has been in touch as well. They've been playing a little more of Final Fantasy VII Remastered this week. It's a great game so far. Good. Getting the play out of that. Christopher Patrick has been playing the FIFA 21 beta. Ooh. There you go. And he says it's very nice. It's very nice. A wee bit different. Particularly for career mode. It's very different for career mode, he was telling me.
Oh.
And that was your listeners. They're all good guys. We love you getting in touch just to let us know what you're playing. We love hearing what you're playing. If you want any help, if you want to throw up your gamer tag into us, if you want to play with people, please do let us know and here's how you can do it.
We'd love to hear from you. Find us on Facebook as The Nearly Men, Twitter and Instagram where we are at Nearly Men, or email info@thenearlymen.com.
We're coming back. Always comes in. Right, new releases. What have we got? Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 for the PS4, PC, Xbox One's out in the 4th. The Persistence is also out in the 4th, PS4 and Xbox One. WRC 9, the rally game, PC, PS4, Xbox One's out in the 4th. Also in the 4th, Doraemon Story of Seasons on the PS4.
Sure.
Marvel's Avengers is out on the 4. Bom, 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 bom. Okuno Ka Madness is out PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch on the 8th. Also on the 8th, Kingdoms of Amalur, Re-Reckoning. On the 10th, you've got Redneck Ed, Astro Monster Show. On the 11th, Inertial Drift. On the 15th, Spelunky 2. And on the 17th, Medieval Dynasty. Or Dynasty, depending where you're from. Who's been taking questions in the chat there, the chat stuff?
Yeah, I've got them there.
Throw it to you right then, man.
With a couple of little comments. First of all, Mish Mallow said, please tell me you guys have seen the Fall Guys / Shrek meme. It's amazing. I have not seen it. I'm going to check it out. If it's that highly recommended, we'll need to check that out. MJ Play Games said, I feel like I'm the only person not playing Sea of Thieves. It looks so much fun when you guys play it. You are literally the only person not playing it. MJ,
don't worry, I'm not playing it either.
I don't know what to tell you. You have played it, mate. You're not invited.
I'm not. Do I be invited?
Evil Monkey said, I just showed my wife the Nintendo Direct and she is on board with 2 carts for the kids for Christmas. So there we go. So yeah, you're going to have to stream that, Evil Monkey, so that all us poor folk can watch. Bri, talking about the Avengers, Bri said, yeah, this game annoyed me as it felt like a PS3 game. Feel for being a late PS4 game. It wasn't very smooth. Hoping they've fixed it. And then MJ Plays Games just commented, that is America's ass. Right, she's talking to you, Blunder Boy. So,
That's
questions from the chat.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you. Upcoming streams on the Nearly Men channel. Tomorrow we have Gary. He's going to be playing Bam 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 Bam. He's going to be doing the Avengers, aren't you, Gary?
Yeah.
Happy days. Tune in for that. That's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. On Monday, it's myself. I'm going to be continuing Alien Isolation. It's part 5 of the... Oh, I nearly just swore there. Can't do that. I'm not even going to attempt to say the back to front way of saying pooping in the pants. Wednesday is Colin Little's night. Wednesday night is Colin Little night. Do you know what you're playing next Wednesday, Colin?
No, I've completely forgotten that I had to think about this. So
it's a long time away.
Not sure yet. We'll see.
We don't even know what we're all playing next Thursday as well. Do we?
No.
Have I missed something? Did I miss a memo? No, we're cool.
Nope.
Well,
so we surprise for folks.
Just keep your eyes on Discord. There'll be a link in the chat to the Discord. Please do join in the chat. It's always lovely to have people in there. There's a lovely community we've got. And if you sub to the Twitch channel, you can become a producer of the podcast. Remember, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link that to your Twitch account and it becomes Prime Gaming and it gives you a free sub to the streamer of your choice. Please do consider throwing it our way. Let me tell you who produced episode 71. It was... Dutch Recon 92, Feral Magical Girl, Hezabeam, Mr. J, Zero TD, Andy McG 303, Apenoid, Jesus, Finally Men, Ride or Die 2610, Just Off the 6, Tikru 87, Alkane X, Gavin Alaf, Xbox, Bry 2208, Racturian, Spook U2, Colin Mac 42, Square Go Gamers, Baby Maker, Chaos Monkey, Eths, Totana, Big Smooth CP1, Ghastly Tales, Blenderhead Games, Shaheem12344, Jamesy42, King Sims, Sint Pharmacist, Dave Cake 90, Greston, MJ Play Games, Nat Pacino, Andrew H183, Colin is a poop. Lindsay Marr, Tekkerin, Dr. NJ, Jobrias, Slick 1393, Sherry Bobbins 09. It's Sherry Bobbins 09. Step in time. Keeping It Twisted, Suki Sue, Graham Bro, Subtle Sraff, Evil Eva Monkey, Dando, Who Wants to Die, Wardy Live, Async, Austin Winch, Queen of the North, Enemy Hugh, Decoy Aardvark, Soul Glow, 1989, T-Bones 5656, PlayStation Sucks, Daybreak 1591, Acampo Photo, Chantel 92SX, Oh My Gosh, Banff Nurse, The Wee Maverick, Kimma Smith, Original Steven, Kitsuku Inari, Arong G Spot 21, Yout Yarikol, and Blue Dragon 3233. Boom! That is the producers of episode 71. Thank you for your patience.
How did that feel like more names the second time? That was
probably
so many names.
Phenomenal. Episode 72 will be live on this channel on the 17th of September at 8 p.m. BST. Please do give us a wee follow if you don't already. If you're feeling kind, give us subscriptions and we can eat for another month. But in the meantime, Colin Little, have you anything left to say?
I have not. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colin. Gary Hogg-Simmons, have you anything less to say?
Nah.
In which case, if you're watching on Twitch live, stick around, we'll do a wee raid. If you're listening in the future, thanks for picking up the podcast again. Please do hop on Twitch. We're on there all the time. It's great to see everyone there, and it's a lovely community. In the meantime, guys, thank you for listening to episode 71. We'll see you on the 17th. Bye-bye!